Right. Hello. This is the Spitfire Mark 9 startup recording that I'm way overdue on doing, but I just got a different recording software. So, right. This is the Spitfire for King and Country and all that. Um, you may be wondering why it looks like shit. It's because I'm playing this in VR, which means you're only seeing out of my left eye, which means that looking down the gun sight, I'll try to line it up whenever I get there. You also notice that I sound like shit. That's partially because of the VR, and it's mostly because I'm sick. You also notice to the right, I'm missing the tips of my wings, and fuck you. That's why. Right. So what's nice about the Spitfire is the startup procedure is really, really easy, and it's actually mostly just pre-flight things. So first thing we're gonna do, pull out my handy pointer. Make sure that our carburetor control is in the back position. Make sure the throttle's all the way back. Make sure our mixture control's all the way back. Make sure this needle is not below 220. What do you think it is? Can't tell for sure. Let's see what else. Make sure our magnetos are down, which is good. Fuel tank is off. Drop tank is off. This fuel tank pressure is off. Right, everything looks okay. Undercarriage is down, which is that. Right. So easy peasy. To start, the first thing we got to do is move our throttle forward until now we got our lights on. Move that back. Okay, second thing we're going to do is first thing we're going to do. Well, first of all, we can turn on the wheel brakes. Turn on wheel brakes. Make sure those are on. Let's double check our surfaces real quick. So, aileron, left aileron. Make sure the flaps working. You got that little indicator down there, right? Left. It's good. Make sure those close up. Right, now I do. I would do rudder. Ow. But that's always a pain in the ass to turn around. So, alright, starting up. First thing we're going to do is move our carburetor into the forward operating position. Move our propeller RPMs all the way forward. Move the throttle forward about an inch. Next thing, we'll turn our fuel tanks on. Next thing we'll do is we'll unscrew the primer pump and give that 5 good pumps. Now this thing is called a wobble cock. And we're going to give that about 12 or so good little flicks until that light down there turns off. That means that's the low fuel pressure indicator light. That means we are primed and ready to go. Next thing to do is turn both our magnetos on. Next thing we do are open our starter and our booster cap buttons. Now I would press these in VR, except you have to press them both down at the same time. You can't really do that with my virtual hand, so I got to do buttons on the joystick to do it. Let's see. Next thing we're going to do is, let's see, double check, make sure our wheel brakes, yep, got pressure. That's forward, double check. This mixture control is held back. So what we'll do is we'll press the starter button and the booster button, and then when we see the propeller start to catch, that's when we move this forward. So I think you say contact. Do we say contact? Whatever, I'm going to say contact. Contact! And we are started. There. It's just that simple. Now, because this would be a very short recording, I am going to try to taxi. Taxiing is the hardest fucking thing to do in the whole goddamn universe. We're gonna take it nice and slow. First, we're gonna test our wheel brakes, make sure they're good. So we're gonna move up to, there's our RPM, move up to about 1800 RPMs. We're not going nowhere. Good, we're golden. I want to test something real quick. If I take the wheel brake off right now, will I move? Nope. So, the tricky thing about fucking taxiing is you have to use the rudders. They're and since the turning wheel is in the very far back, it means turning is a bit touchy, and you have to use the brake at the same time that you turn. It's not very pleasant. Which is why my canopy's open, so I can lean out and look like this. And I don't know what's going on here with this whole thing. It's very strange. So, We're going to take ourselves to, I don't know, like say about there, about 1500. And then we're going to pull back on the stick and disengage our brakes, and we should start moving. Like I said, this is extremely tricky, and I'm very bad at it, and I don't have a lot of practice. Now, this is why I don't take this thing onto a live server, because I'd have to taxi all the way down there to get to the right runway, and we're not gonna fucking do that. Eh. 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 So we'll stop short here. Now, normally this is when you ask for permission to take off, but okay, let me show you something. This is my radio. There's no frequencies on it. I have a radio mode between something and something. I have all these buttons and for which radio channel I'm on, and well, let's open up the radio menu real quick. Yeah. Let's see. God knows what fucking channel this is supposed to be on, so that's kind of out of the question. Okay, so we'll get out of that. Accidentally take a screenshot. Then we'll line ourselves on the runway. Good luck trying to... Now this is the second hardest thing to do, is lining yourself straight with the runway. Right, I think that's as close as we're going to get. So we're going to idle to 0. Take off our wheel brakes. We're going to close the canopy. Right, takeoff. This part stresses me out. It always has and always will. So we need to do a couple checks. Make sure that double check with our propeller's RPM. Make sure that we're under 80 degrees oil temperature and under like 120 degrees radiator temperature. Good there. Right, we're gonna turn on our supercharger booster. So this is a this is all in the moment. I can't really explain it as I'm doing it. Basically, I'm gonna increase the throttle steadily until I reach, what is it, 8 boost PSI there. While holding the stick back. Once I do that, I will slowly release it until the tail levels out, and I get enough speed. I just eyeball it, and then until you can start pulling up on the stick and taking off. Now, the other first thing we got to do, I'll put my hand away here, is set ourselves for takeoff trim. So basically what we'll do is we'll set, that's our nose up, nose down trim, and that's our nose up, nose down indicator gauge. So we'll set that to 1 degree down, and we'll move our rudder trim so it's about on normal to the port abouts, because the plane will want, because of the torque of the engine, the plane will want to turn left a bit. Now I do have toe brakes, but we don't do that here. Okay. Make sure I got this off. We're good. Okay, pull back on the stick. Right. Now, let's close our booster cap or caps real quick. What's it off? Fuel is on. Undercarriage is down. Flaps are up. I know that's a bit weird, but that's what we do here. So, fucking okay. Stick back. Increase the throttle. Take rudder right, rudder right, rudder right, left. Keep ourselves aligned. And I'm going off the fucking runway. Oh no! Oh no! I exploded! Whoops. Well, we'll try that again some other day.